Hi there, you found Queen V Crafts, my channel all about my crafting life. My name is Eve, my pronouns are she, her, and today is Flosstube episode number 26. Today is the 2nd of August 2025, and I am really excited to share my July wrap up with y'all. Bree also wants to say hi today apparently. She's in here with me, and so we'll do a little say hello to the people, little girl. Is that all? Okay. I took her squeaky toy away from her and she's not happy about it. So that is I usually have a lot more like composed intros, but so today we're going to talk cross stitch. Brie, I'm gonna need you to get down, please. Thank you. Everything that I got up to in July. So the finishes that I had, starts that I did, and all of the WIPs or works in progress that I worked on. And then we'll talk about my plans for this month in August. We'll go through the things that I've acquired, and then we'll chit chat a little bit about my experience at Midsummer Stitch, which I attended a few weekends ago, the virtual event hosted by Lindy Stitches. So without further ado, I need to grab my board. I am so prepared today. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. So the first finish that I had in the month of July, I did participate in the Christmas in July, Jolly July, whatever you want to call it. And I worked on my holiday themed pieces during that month. I was able to finish one of my oldest projects, not my oldest, but like one of my oldest, and it's so small it should not have taken me as long as it did. But here is Snowy Reindeer. This is by Country Cottage Needleworks. So Snowy Reindeer I started on November 30th, 2003. If you can believe it. And I just finished it July 11th, 2025. So there is Snowy Reindeer. This is part of the Frosty Forest collection. I stitched it on a 36 count fog lifter from R&R Reproductions. 1/2, mostly with the called for DMC, and it calls for 1 fancy floss. In the trees here, it says to use Shutter Green, but I subbed that out for Gentle Arts Cucumber, and I think it looks great. I did make some customizations because the way that Frosty Forest is laid out, you have this square that's supposed to have 2 bucks, and then there's a square that has 2 does. And I wanted to include a doe and a buck, so I switched out the antlers for ears, and I think it turned out pretty well. This one wasn't my first foray to stitching on linen, but one of my early ones, and somewhere in the snow down here there is not a counting error per se, but I didn't count over 2 squares to make it. I only counted over 1. There's like a couple of X's that are tall and skinny, but I think I made it work. It's not super noticeable, and I am quite happy with how this turned out. So that is Snowy Reindeer by Country Cottage. I'm very happy to have it done. Oh, Brie, I don't know if I can do this video with you on my lap, girly. Okay, we're gonna try. All right. Okay, Brie, I'm gonna need you to figure out what you're doing. Lie down. I should just start this video over at this point. Can you get down, please? No, 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 not on my finish. Thank you. Stay. Stay. So the next finish that I have is Believe by the Trilogy. This one I started December 13th, 2024, and I finished it July 30th, 2025. It's so cute and tiny. I probably did not need to leave this much fabric border. Oh well. This one I stitched on 40 count creme brulee from R&R Reproductions with a conversion that I came up with because I'm also stitching Christmas Bird in the same colorway, and I didn't want to use all the colors that was called for in that project, so I switched some out and then decided, hey, a lot of these colors overlap, so I will just use the same kind of color scheme. So there is Believe. I don't super love Polar Express as a Christmas movie. It's not like one of my favorites, but the song that Josh Groban wrote for the movie is my favorite Christmas song. So this one is pretty special in that way, and I will be making this into an ornament, and it will go up on my Christmas tree. Hopefully this Christmas, maybe? We'll see. You know me, and fully finishing things is not always the easiest, but we will try. Alright, this needs to find a spot to go because I need to use that again. Okay. Those were both my finishes. Let's talk starts. I have 2 for this video, which is kind of crazy because usually I have tons more starts than this, but I was good in July and I only started 2 things. The first one was the Midsummer Stitch Exclusive from JEDxStitch. This is Summer's Day, and I have gotten this far on it. I am stitching Summer's Day on 40 count Coral Sand from BeStitchMe, and I pulled from Stash for this one. A lot of it's called for, either Fancy Floss or DMC, and some things I had to sub out because they didn't quite work right on this fabric, or I didn't have the called for. So that is this one. I'm stitching 1/2, and I started this on July 20th of this year. So there is my start on Summer's Day. Next up is another Sal. I said something about not wanting to start any more mystery Sals, but Iris of Needlelot Designs said that they were going to be doing a Greek inspired stitch along, and I said I kind of have to join that. So this is called Divine Beasts, and it is available on their Ko-Fi if you become a member. So go ahead and check that out if you are interested. I was able to finish the frame. Who am I? So here is what Divine Beasts looks like so far. I dyed this fabric myself. It's a 22 count, a hard hanger. I went onto the RIT website and picked out like a gray blue that I liked. This one's called Grease, G-R-I-S, not like Grease the place, Grease like gray in Spanish. And I think it's the perfect backdrop for this cell. So I finished the border. It took me like 4 days, I think. I really love it. It looks so cool. I started this on the 22nd of July, and I'm really excited for the next part. I think it was released yesterday, so I need to go over and check out the Ko-Fi for the next part, download that, and I will get stitching on that part next. So yeah, that is Divine Beasts. Alrighty, now that we're through all of my starts and finishes, let's talk about projects that you've seen before but are not done. So, WIPs. First up, I have my 2 WIPGO calls for July. The first one was PokeAll from Lord Libidan. And this one is so massive. It's always such a pain to hold up. I will try and like get a zoom in picture of where it was before, and I'll hold up where I worked on. So where it was and where I got to. So I mostly worked, fold please. I mostly worked on, this is wheezing. I filled in all of this one, started down here. I think I filled in some confetti that was down in here. I am kind of starting to work page by page, so you see this page break. This is a massive piece of fabric. This is a massive chart. Like, this isn't even a quarter of it done at this point. It looks really good. I started this one February 18th, 2023, and I will keep putting it on my WIPGO board and working on it when it's called, or pulling it out when I feel like it, but it doesn't always call to me. Full coverage and me have this, like, either I'm really called to do it or I don't want to touch full coverage at all. So details, I'm using the Called for DMC, stitching 1/1 on 18 count light blue from Witchelt. And that one I am omitting the background, which is supposed to like be stitched in all white. I'm stitching it on a blue and I want that to show through some, so I am omitting the background. So that has eliminated a ton of stitches, which is really nice. Alrighty. Next up is Serena Sprout by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This was another WIPGO call. I was here the last time and I got to here. This one I'm stitching on 36 count Peridot from Fiber on a Whim using the Called for DMC 2/2. I started this on October 18th, 2024. And this is the progress I've made so far. I'm pretty sure I'm almost to the full width of this piece, which is really cool. So, Serena Sprout. There she is. All right, next. During the 4th of July weekend, I worked on Free and Brave from the Drawn Thread. Here's where it was and where I got to. This one is on 40 count Moonshadow from Seraphim Fabrics. I'm using all the called for gentle art. It was started last year, so 2024 on July 4th. And that's where I got to over this holiday. I really like this one. It's very easy. It's small. It shouldn't take me super long. She says about every small project she has, and then it takes 2 years to finish. It's about the process for me. I'm not like a super finish focused person, but it is nice when I get those finishes. All right, next up is Snow Globe. This is a free pattern you can get off of DMC's website. Here is where I was and where I got to. This one is being stitched on a 28 count white even weave, 1/1, which is why this is taking me so long, because it's very fiddly. Especially like the red and the gold here, and there's a ton of white that I still have to do, and that's all in DMC Light Effects, and it's not my favorite to work with. Like, I honestly could have chosen something a little bit better in terms of metallics if I wanted the sparkle, but this is what I went with when I started this one in 2023. Won't use again, but I think it looks really cool. Pretty sure I'm done with all the regular DMC. All I have left is the white light effects, which gives like the sparkle and the snow and stuff in here. So next time this one gets pulled out, it should be finished or very, very close to a finish. So there is Snow Globe. Next up, I worked on the Stardew Valley map. I have to get it out from here really quick. This one is a chart from ChiChiZeKitty that I got when I was following a content creator on Twitch. They were streaming them stitching it, and they released it as a pattern to the public. Here's where I was the last time that I showed it, and here is where I've gotten to. I'm steadily working along. I think I hit a milestone. I think I hit 30%, if I'm not mistaken. I can check really quick if you can, 1 second. Yes, I did hit a milestone. I hit 30% on this one, which is really awesome. I don't know if I'm going to hit my goal of 50% by the end of the year. I sure am going to try. I will just steadily keep stitching away on this when I feel compelled to. I'm using 16 count easy grid. If I go to this side, I can hold it a little bit easier. With 2 strands over 1, and this whole corner was not started this year. So I have made that amount of progress in 6 months, which is pretty cool. Really fun to see. So there is the Stardew Valley map. All right. I then stitched on Moon Moth, another free pattern from DMC. It was here the last time and is here now. This one is being stitched 1 over 1 on 18 count black Aida with the call for DMC. I'm steadily getting closer. I think my next order of business, I think I'm going to finish the star border on the bottom. I am going to leave the fill-in. I'm going to work on the moon border at the top, and then leave the fill-in for Zooms, virtual retreats, something like that. And then I will have this one totally done, and I'll be able to display it, and I am excited as I love the colors of this. So there is Moon Moth. Alrighty. I then stitched on No Time Like the Present. This is the one that I pulled for my Sal a Month challenge, where I'm pulling a different Sal stitch along each month and working on it throughout the month and just getting steady progress on all of those Sals. This month it was No Time Like the Present for Modern Folk Embroidery. Here's where it was the last time. I have to lean way back now because it's getting quite large. And where I got to. So I have been working away at the darker color coming down the side here. I think my plan now is to do most of the dark color, at least maybe on this half of the pattern, and then fill in the lighter color, and then do the same over on this side. I am really liking just being able to work with one color, and using the darker one gives me like good places to count off from, good basis. This one I'm using 18 count very light pewter Aida from Witchelt, 2 over 1 with DMC 3847 and 3849. And I love these two teals together on this like very light tealy blue gray color. It is very, very pretty. I love it. All right, last WIP is Christmas Bird from Heart and Hand. This one I think is going to be the most dramatic change in terms of progress made. So here's where it was and where it is now. Christmas Bird is being stitched on 40 count creme brulee from Arnari Productions. This is the same fabric that I use for Believe. Ironically, it is just on the back. Using that same color conversion of DMC, Classic Colorworks, and Gentle Art. Started this one last holiday time. Gonna try and get it done before Christmas this year. I don't have a ton left, so it should be doable. I love him. He's so cute. I love all these leggy birds though, if we're being honest. And that's all of the projects that I worked on. I think I went through them faster than I usually do, which is good because I have quite a bit of acquisitions to go through once we do some housekeeping stuff. So, plans for August. Well, I guess back up a tiny bit. Here is what my challenge journal looked like for July. I do WIPGO, Pick-A-WIP, I Spy from Stitching by the Shore, and the Crafts and Books Acrostic, hosted by Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher. I Spy is hosted by Laura, Stitching by the Shore. And my own little challenge where I do my Sal a month. You can see what I was able to fill in. I'm not going to read all these out. For a WIPGO, this is the amount that I set for my goal. Sorry, I'm pointing with two colors. That's the number that I set for my goal. That's the number I was actually able to stitch. You can see my like little math above there, keeping track of how many stitches I did a day. So that's what I got up to in July. Here's what August looks like. So for WIPGO, number 12 and number 15, the Lunar Witch and Candy are going to be what I work on. Pick-A-WIP are a project with a tomato and a neglected whip, which I have plenty of those, so that shouldn't be too hard. Down here, all the I Spy challenges, or I Spy prompts, and the Crafts and Books Acrostic is Dog Days. So let's do WIPGO first. Let's spin for the number of stitches that I'm going to do. Let me pull up my wheel. The first one is going to be for the Lunar Witch. Is that 850? Cool. So we're going to do 850, or try to do 850 stitches on the Lunar Witch. And then for Candy, is that also 850? Okay. What a month. So we're also going to try for 850 stitches on Candy. Their goals, I never feel defeated if I don't hit those goals. They're just something to aim for. So yeah, let's pull a Sal a month as well. I have the ones that I've already called this year blocked off, so I can try and stitch on something new. Here is those. We are going to work on Enchanted Realms. Yay. This is my oldest mystery stitch along and has been neglected and probably can get done this month if we're being completely honest. So, Enchanted Realms is the Sal for the month. That's exciting. That can get set aside now. So can this. I am very excited for August stitching. I do have 2 projects that I do want to also pull out in addition to all of those. Autumn Bird from Heart and Hand. I would like to get that one done before the autumn equinox, so in September. And I've barely stitched on it. I think I stitched on it once on the equinox last year, and it hasn't been touched since. So that one I need to move along and get either finished or very close to a finish. The other is Kawaii Cat. This one I stitched an eyeball of the cat and then stopped for some reason. And this one's almost a year old and has had very little progress, so I do want to move that one forward as well. So in addition to WIPGO and Pick-A-WIP and Salamonth, I will be working on those 2, and then we'll see what else I decide I want to pull out. Alright, we have reached the portion of the video where I talk about my acquisitions. If you don't love seeing what people have purchased, I want to thank you for being here, hanging out with me today. If you liked what you saw, consider subscribing, liking the video, leaving me a comment about what you liked that I've been stitching on, what you've been stitching on. I love getting to chat with y'all in the comments, so leave me something down below, say hi. But if you want to see what I've purchased, buckle up. There's a lot. Let's start with the Floss of the Month from Thread the Needle. I get the curated monthly pack from Athena Stitching Goddess Designs, and this month that's what it was inspired by, and the colors, and that's what those look like. I have moved my lighting, so I am like not really as adept at fixing the glare as some people who like always film with a ring light. So I will get used to it, just need some adjusting time. Alright, next up. So I've been going to local stitching group for a while now, like since February. We moved here in January, so I've pretty much been going every month since. One of the individuals that's at this stitching group is Addie, who's here on YouTube as Addie's Crossing Quilts. If you've never watched her, you should head over there. She is a hoot. I love getting to watch her videos, but she turned me on to Mo's Sail Silk. Now, I've been following Mo's Sail Silk for a while, never pulled the trigger until Addie brought her entire silk collection in like giant tubs, basically, to the stitching day so we could all ooh and ah over them, as well as try like to make color conversions and stuff for things that she was going to be starting. So I went a little bit overboard the last couple of weeks that they've been posting, and I bought silk, like a lot of silk. And I'm filming this at the same time that I think there's another one of these packages sitting in my mailbox waiting for me. So I might stick in a little clip at the very end with me like unboxing those as well. But I have, let me put them on my finger. In the month of July, these are all the silks that I purchased. It might be problematic looking at them all on my finger like this, but they're all beautiful. I love them. So let's go through these. This is navy. This is Nantucket. This is Long Island. Martha's Vineyard. Montauk. The Hamptons. And Berkshire. To figure out where to put these down. Here we go. Alrighty. On this ring, My Bungalow. A Meadow View. Rose Cottage. Seacrest. And The Pines. This is the inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean ring. So this is Blackbeard. This is Jack Sparrow. This is Serena. Hector Barbosa. Jack the Monkey. And it's stuck on my finger. Let go. And Joshua Gibbs. Last ring. This is Panniers. This is Muret. This is Samatan, I think. And Auk. And those were the first ones that I purchased. And then I decided, oh, they're so beautiful. Let me go above and beyond and buy even more. I really love this one. This like blue and green. I want to use some of these to stitch like a long dog sampler. I think that would be beautiful. Especially the more highly variegated ones I think would be really fun. Alrighty, those are all of my silks. Next up, I have the threads that I purchased when I went to 3 Stitches for the Stitch Day. I always buy 5 Classic Colorworks and 5 Gentle Arts. So I got Bambino, Carrie Berry, Cashmere. Now I know some of these, the die lots have changed because like these are the old tags, the Crescent Colors tags. That's just how long some of these have been in stock at the store. Cauldron and Cayenne. And then from Gentle Art, Distressed Denim, Driftwood, Dungarees, Espresso Bean, and Forest Glade. So now that I've talked about them, they can integrate themselves into my stash. Millennial Fabrics, they were doing a sale of like leftover pieces from their Fabric of the Month club. Either they it died too much, or someone didn't pay their invoice and so they didn't send it out. This one was March's Fabric of the Month. I got 36 count. This is called Rosy Cheeks. It's really pretty. And then I got another piece of 40 count mint julep, which was the February, and I do already have a cut of this, but I think it's so pretty. I wanted to have another piece of it, so that's what I did. Okay. Also from Millennial Fabrics, I've been ordering some patterns when they come out. I got Bless This Home from Primrose Cottage. I plan on stitching all of the like bee related pieces. I have the Quaker and the quilt, and now Bless This Home. So once I decide what I want to stitch them on and with what, I will do that. Until then, I'm slowly just hoarding the patterns. Let's see, what's this one? This is another pattern order. Oh, so she started carrying Sprouting Lupine in physical copies. This is one of the nature walks. This one's for snow. This one's my favorite out of all the nature walks. I think they're all beautiful. This one's my favorite. This is a close second. This is Thunderstorm Nature Walk. This grumpy frog is so funny to me. I also got Delft Blooms. And that is what I ordered there for that one. This last package from Millennial Fabrics has a piece from Annie B's. This is the American Sampler House. It has the same kind of vibe as Free and Brave. That's why I like it so much. So there is that one. All right, last bit, and I went through all of that kind of quick. I was able to snag a piece of the exclusive fabric for Midsummer Stitch that was dyed from Brandy at BeStitchMe. It is this beautiful color called Midsummer. I did take it out of the bag to look at it in its glory. It is beautiful. I'm not going to take it out of the bag yet because I want to just keep this pristine. It is so beautiful. I love this color. I have to figure out a good project for it. And I did get 40 count. So that is that. I did also order a couple of exclusive patterns. I showed you my start on Summer's Day. I also ordered Spring Reverie, I think is what it's called, by Sprouting Lupine, and the Midsummer Moth, I think is what she called it, from Lindy Stitches. It's basically the logo for Midsummer Stitch, and I'm excited to stitch that one. So let's chit chat a little bit about Midsummer Stitch, shall we? So this retreat, Bree's gonna join me again. I had fun. I was a little bit disappointed that my work schedule did not give me as much freedom as I would have liked. For a long time, I've been opening in the mornings, and so I would get off in the later afternoon and be able to stitch in the evening and hang out with everybody. I've been closing a lot more now since I took on the manager position, and so I was able to join in a little bit in the mornings, but when most people are on in the evenings, I was at work, which was kind of a bummer, and I missed a lot of the live events. So I think for the next Lindy Stitches event, I think I'm going to try to request off for one of the days so that I can spend all day stitching with friends and having fun doing the live events and stuff. So we'll see if that works out. I do plan on going to the next event, which is Harvest Moon Hangout in September. I think it's the weekend right after my birthday, so that'll be fun. I always love getting to hang out in the stitching rooms and meet new people. Got to stitch with some of my friends that I met at Spring Mangle, and that was fun. I just love the virtual events because you really do get to experience kind of the same effect as being at a physical retreat without having to move your entire life schedule around because of it. And they are not very expensive, so you know, it's a very cost-effective, fun option, especially for those that have like a little bit of social anxiety or something, where being in a crowded room of like 50 to 150, 200 people is overwhelming. You can be in a room with that many people at the events, but you can keep your camera off, you can keep your microphone off, and you can just hang out and listen to everybody else chat. It's really, really awesome, and I love Steph and the whole team at Lindy Stitches for being able to put these events on for us. So thank you so much. I think that's all that I need to share today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I am looking forward to what August brings. You all have a wonderful month, and we'll see you next time, because Bree wants to say bye. Say bye to the people. Bye, people. Say happy stitching. Alright, y'all. See you next time. Until then, happy stitching.
Just as surprised as you.